right, here we are, emergency video, because of course the elephant in the room, Quinn Hughes, is a member of the Minnesota Wild. I can't believe those words are coming out of my mouth now.
It's kind of crazy. All right, Dylan, where were you when I told you that Quinn Hughes got traded?
There we go. Reputable news source, noted for breaking the Quinn Hughes story, Cole Stokes. I was actually at Trader Joe's grocery shopping. I was on the toilet actually when this got texted to me, and I looked it up. I couldn't find any stories on it. I was like, this dude is literally messing with me, although the trade package seemed pretty believable. And then eventually I looked and I was like, oh my god, it actually happened. Like, it didn't feel real. I basically paced around the grocery store aimlessly for like 30 minutes. I was shaking for like a good hour.
Pretty Most exciting crazy. Trader Joe's run.
Least exciting, honestly. Trader Joe's peak. But yeah, what about you?
Yeah, I was about to leave for the gym, and then I got that notification. I'm like, whoa, Quinn Hughes trade, that's crazy. And then I'm looking at it, I'm like, wait, Quinn Hughes from the Canucks?
What?
Isn't he going to New Jersey? We got him. And then I look, I'm like, okay, Rossi, William, Ogren, first round pick. But then I was thinking, we have Quinn Hughes. That was my reaction. Dylan, what do you think?
That was pretty much it for me too. I was like, oh my gosh, what a package. But I mean, think about what we got back. Yeah, Quinn Hughes. Where do I even begin? This is crazy. Pretty crazy. So yeah, let's kind of get right into the trade. Like you mentioned, it was just Quinn Hughes is what we got, but they got a good haul. They got Zeev Buium. Rest in peace to my king. I can no longer defend him anymore. Marco Rossi, another one of my favorites. Liam Ogren, and a first. That's quite the haul. How do you feel about that for both teams?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think, I was looking at it, my initial reaction that first night was like, all four of those things, I feel like it's a little bit on a we're trying to offer them for Quinn Hughes rather than they're trying to offer us Quinn Hughes. I think, it would have been great if we could get it with 3 out of those 4, keep any one of those 3 players. I know which one you want to keep, or the first. I think it's still well worth it considering how we're playing as a team right now. I think we'll finally get... We'll make it past the first round.
I think that is a possibility. Yeah, for sure.
We actually have a chance at contending right now. The way Kaprizov and Boldy are playing. The rest of our team, Johansson, we'll get to him in a second. RIP. The rest of our team too. We're actually playing like a great team this year. I mean, another elephant in the room, the goaltending. It's like phenomenal. We have the pieces to make a run, and that's what our management is finally deciding to do. So I give this trade, for us, I'm giving it a solid A. Not an A+, because like I said, I think, it's still like a little bit heavy, but the situation makes it well worth it.
All right.
What about you?
What do you give it for the Vancouver Canucks?
Ooh, for the Canucks, I'm giving it an A for the Canucks too. I think if even one of those players develops into, a first liner at least, could even be a superstar. I mean, William is legit insane for a rookie. I think the Canucks could do something pretty good with that, and considering that they're last in the league right now, I think that first round pick, Gavin McKenna, whoever, they're probably going to get first. They're not going to get any lower than a third overall pick with that. So I think it was a great trade for them. And having Quinn Hughes on their team, they're not doing anything with him. So I think it was great for them to start their rebuild.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and give this, for the Minnesota Wild, I'm actually going to give it a B+. Now, before you roundhouse me, I can't give it an A until we kind of get a little bit more clarity or on the extension and getting an extension, because if he does not extend this, I do think we would get something for him, even knowing that he wouldn't extend, just because some other team would swoop in and try to steal him before New Jersey. But if we don't extend him, which is a possibility, then we did overpay. But what on the package, I do think that the value that Buium, that Ogren, and Rossi were providing for us this season pales in comparison to the value that Quinn Hughes will provide. Buium was not trusted to play a bunch of minutes, even strength. He was stuck to that third pair with Zach Bogosian, like we liked to talk about. Rossi was not really trusted as much. I mean, he played high in the lineup, but we saw in the playoffs last year he got demoted to fourth-line center. They tried to trade him to the Canucks last off-season. They didn't want to sign that contract, it kind of felt like. He's good, but he wasn't a needle mover for us necessarily. Ogren was stuck behind a bunch of depth wingers. I really hope he pans out. He's got a great shot. Obviously, I hope they all pan out. And now I'm kind of like stuck in this weird position where I have to care about the Vancouver Canucks. It feels weird. For Vancouver, I'm also going to give it a B+. I think the way they handled Quinn Hughes, you could easily argue should be way lower. But if you look exclusively at the trade, what they got and the position they're in and the directions both teams are heading, they did a great job. They got a bunch of pieces. This will really help with the rebuild. Unfortunately, because they got all these players that are effective right now and good, like you said, they're not going to get a super high draft pick, and the pick they got from us is going to be 32nd overall because we're going to win the fucking Stanley Cup. But yeah, I'll give it a B+ for both teams, and that grade will change as we go on. But let's get into some predictions here. In fact, I'm going to actually get my phone out right now because I did one before the game. We did 3 sets of predictions. We did one for the Bruins game, his debut, which went well. We did one for the season itself, and then we did one for the future. And my assumption was we did that in relation to Quinn Hughes. Let's have your predictions first.
Yeah, so my prediction, shocker here. Everyone, no one expected this coming. My prediction for the Bruins game was a Quinn Hughes goal. I did say specifically a Quinn Hughes power play goal, so a little different than your prediction, which we did here. But they were made ahead of the game.
I swear.
It's it's not a super hard prediction to make. Quinn Hughes, he's a star player. He's gonna make something happen. It doesn't matter what team he goes to. First game, he's gonna make something happen. Your game prediction too, I kind of spoiled it, but you had a goal for Quinn Hughes.
Yes, I did. I didn't specify. I just have Hughes' goal, dominates possession. The first period, he did not really do that. He didn't look amazing, honestly. The first period looked like he was settling in. I wasn't like freaking out over that or anything, but he didn't look amazing. Second and third, he did look really good. He dominated a bunch of shifts, dominated that possession a little bit like we talked about, just dancing on the blue line. Looked good, not great on the power play. Still going to need to work on that, but he did get that goal. Was great 5-on-5. And then how about for the season? What's your prediction for this season?
My prediction for this season, this one isn't so much related to Quinn Hughes, but I said for this season, I hope it's not a bold prediction, is that the Wild will get out of the first round, and I think Quinn Hughes will be playing nearly 30 minutes of ice time in at least a couple of games against whoever our opponents are.
Yeah.
We saw it in the playoffs when we've got them in the past couple of years. We have guys like Faber playing like 28 minutes, something like that. So I think Quinn will be able to rely on him even more. But given our decor, they'll be stacked. If they're healthy, we might not have to also. So we'll see. That's my boldest prediction of the 3. What was your season prediction?
I got pretty specific. I did also get pretty bold. I said that we're going to finish either second or third in the Central, which is probably the worst possible spot to finish in. Because then, because of divisional seeding, we'll probably... The Wild, Stars, and Avs I'm 99% sure they will be 3 of the top 4, maybe 5 teams, but because of divisional seeding, 2 of those teams will have to play each other, and it'll likely be us and Dallas. I do think we're able to beat Dallas if fully healthy. That's a big if, but I think we got it. And then I do think we'll lose to Colorado in 7. That was my prediction for the second round. I just think the forward core isn't there yet right now. But that does kind of transition into the next one moving forward. I think because we're unsure with Quinn Hughes, we need to convince him to sign, just like we needed to convince Kaprizov. I think we're going to make a big move for a forward piece of elite first liner. Zuccarello won't be here forever. Johansson won't be here forever. We need to replace those guys. We're in that cup window. I don't think that we will have both Philip Gustafsson and Jesper Wallstedt on the team by the time Quinn Hughes is re-signing, wherever that is. We're going to go really crazy. I think moving forward, when Quinn Hughes' contract expires, he's going to sign a short-term deal with us. I know that 8-year deal that we can offer them that other teams can't is enticing. I don't really think he's like a give me the most money possible type of guy.
He wants to win. He loves hockey.
He wants to win, and I think that maybe he doesn't fully see it yet with us come that extension period. And he'll want to be like, hey, look, I'm going to give you guys a chance. We're going to see what we can do. And then if it doesn't work, I'm going to go to New Jersey. Kind of a la Connor McDavid this past offseason when he signed a 2-year extension as opposed to the full 8. He doesn't give a shit about the money. Just give him the same contract as before and let him cook. I do think Quinn Hughes is going to get a raise. He's on an amazing contract. I think he'll get around $12 to $13 million a year, which I know it sounds crazy, especially you pair that with Kaprizov's deal. But we have to remember the cap is rising and rising. By the time that contract kicks in, we'll be well within the ability to pay and sign more guys. So, yeah, what's your prediction for Quinn Hughes' future?
Yeah, and don't forget about those Parisi and Suter contracts, too. The Wild actually, despite paying Kaprizov $17 million, they are going to have, like you said, a lot of cap space. So my prediction, it's very optimistic, but I think we're gonna take Jack and Luke Hughes. That is my prediction
I love
for the future. I'm thinking here. Imagine we have top line. One of them's gonna have to be a center. Kaprizov, Boldy,
Hughes
Jack
at center.
Hughes at center, yeah, and then Quinn Hughes and Luke Hughes on defense. That would be the best line in the league. I'm gonna say it. That'd be crazy. Assuming like Oilers like McDavid and Drysdale don't play together. I think it'd be the best normal line that's out there. It'd be crazy. We're gonna have to give up a ton for him. Like you said, I didn't mention this in my prediction, but I said we'd have to give up a lot to get them both over here and to keep Quinn, because I think the more likely option will unfortunately be that he will eventually leave to New Jersey, assuming we don't win a cup. My prediction is if we do win a cup, they're coming here. If not, who knows? And like you said, I like what you said with not keeping both our goalies, because if they continue to play well, it'd be great to keep them both, but they'll be valuable trade assets considering that they're both so young.
And we don't have anything else as far as trade assets. Like, we need to get more pieces, and the best beyond that is there's a couple prospects that are pretty good. Ryder Ritchie, you've got Charlie Stramel as a center. You've got a couple of decent defensemen. You could throw in Yurchek, but he's not super valuable right now. Gus, in particular, if we trade Wallstedt, I will, shoot myself. But Gus, in particular, is just the way to go there as far as trades. And then, let's see. So, for your, initial reaction, we kind of went over that. Let's look. How do we feel about the Canucks and how they handled just Quinn Hughes and his career with the team?
Yeah, so obviously they should have not even had to come to this point. They should have not been tanking with a generational defenseman on their team. They should have been able to keep Miller. They should have been able to solve that rift. I think they probably should have gotten rid of Pettersson instead of Miller. But stuff like that, the Canucks management is very bad. They do not care about their players. I don't think they even want to tank. I just think they're incompetent. So I think it's great. I'm drawing a comparison here to the Cincinnati Bengals in Joe Burrow. Kind of like the same thing as Quinn Hughes. They're just terrible without him.
And both of those guys are going to come to Minnesota.
Both those guys. They're both coming to Minnesota too. Stay tuned.
Heard it here first.
Stay tuned. And then, Jamar Chase is going to be like the other two Hughes. It's going to be like the whole thing. It's gonna be great metaphor.
Minnesota up.
But yeah, I think the Canucks kind of suck. They're going to be rebuilding for a couple of years. If they're smart, which it looks like they are based on that trade. But I think, they handled the trade pretty well. They got a lot out of us for it. Obviously, they gave up. As an organization, you never want to just give up your star player. It's like if the Oilers gave up McDavid right now, they just traded him. It's like the same thing. Shouldn't have had to happen, but I'm glad it did. And I think when it did happen, they handled it at least decently well. They handled the trade well. So
yeah, I agree. I think it went pretty bad. They did have that 23-24 year where they won the division. And they were total shooting percentage like luck merchants. They had 3 guys just shooting at crazy numbers. But Quinn Hughes, he was legit. I mean, he won the Norris that year. They made it to the second round, almost took down Edmonton. They were great. But then you could see that it was luck for the team, as next year, or the year after, was a disaster. And this year has been even worse. They just fell apart really quick. The locker room rift really tore them up, tore them a new one. And we were the benefactors. And we're going to have at least 2 cracks at this with him. And that's going to be a very exciting time for the Wild. Very important off season. We're just win now, high stress. It's going to be a good time to be a Minnesota Wild fan. Speaking of which, what do you think at this point the Wild need in order to win the Stanley Cup?
So obviously our D-core is already, I'd say, top 5 without Quinn Hughes. You throw Quinn Hughes in, they're literally just replacing Zeev Buium. It's like Quinn Hughes is Zeev Buium's ceiling 5 or 6 years from now. Like absolute ceiling, probably like a floor above type of ceiling. I don't think Buium will be generational like Hughes is.
I agree.
But basically we just aged Buium and gave him some steroids, and now he's Quinn Hughes. And we gave up, Rossi, like you said, come playoff time. I don't think Rossi's going to be that impactful, like you said, assuming we can get, if Yurov stays healthy and we can get a lot more games out of him, get him another 50 games, get him ready for the playoffs, I think he will be a better option in the playoffs than Rossi, just strictly. The rest of our team, I think at least this year, Johansson, assuming whatever happened to him today is not something serious or season ending, I'm assuming he'll be able to keep up a pace like that. Zuccarello, at least this year again. Even next year, they're probably going to be a lot worse, those two specifically. So I think this year specifically is our year to win. Next year, too, it's going to be, a year to win as well. But I think we really have to do something this year to also show during, like you said, this next offseason that we can play it and we can win and we can compete like we have been since the month of November.
I'm going to go take that. I'm going to push back against that a little bit. I think this year we are going to make another move. We have to get probably a center, just looking at that depth. The name that comes to mind for me is Ryan O'Reilly, just because the Predators suck so bad. It wouldn't take a ton to get him, and I still do think we have enough young pieces where we could get a guy like a Ryan O'Reilly. I think we'll have a good crack at it this time around, and then next year, just with that additional cap space, after we've kind of seen what we can do, he's not going anywhere this offseason, so next year I do think is really the year to win it. We'll make another trade or two, do some big stuff, have the opportunity to do that. You'll see Yurov age another year. The chemistry will have built even further. I think we make our deepest and best run next season, not this season. That's going to be my take. And then I think Quinn Hughes, yeah, it's going to be just super exciting. Even if he does go to New Jersey, you get 2 amazing years out of it, and hopefully you can get something back. Obviously, if he doesn't get anything back, then that's kind of a shitty scenario, especially if we can't win anything. But I'm pretty optimistic.
Yeah. Again, the recurring theme here is that since we made this trade, we are looking to make moves both in our roster and in the playoff bracket.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be it for us. Quinn Hughes is a member of the Minnesota Wild. It's a win now, full steam ahead for the next 20 months at the very least. I'm very excited. You guys should be too. The Minnesota Wild are the hot new team on the block. The Central Division is absolutely insane.
Loaded.
Already the best division in hockey. Now it's even better. Quinn Hughes, welcome to the Minnesota Wild.